Almost back. I didn't need you today, Rob. I'm almost back. I got torched for having AIDS-like arms on Instagram yesterday. But the voice is almost back. We're at 90, 95%, I feel like.
Yeah. The
voice
is
I almost got that through.
First to go, first to come back.
Voice, yeah. So not too bad. Happy Insurrection Day, everyone. It's the anniversary. So if you're out there celebrating, Dan, I didn't get you a cake today. I meant to get you a cake.
I'm having commemorative coins made. And it's just that one picture of the guy holding the podium doing this.
Yeah. Before we went on air, Jared Taylor FaceTimed me, and he said he thinks we should go to Austin City Council and ask for funding to get a statue made outside of the Capitol here in Austin for their insurrection.
Of the MAGA shaman, right?
Yeah. That's what the guy in the Viking helmet. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Maybe the commemorative plates, something like that.
Something.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Matt Belinsky. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Pleasure to be here.
You're in town enjoying Austin?
Yes, sir.
It's freezing.
It's free. Okay, and it wasn't freezing yesterday.
No.
A little strange.
What do you mean it's freezing? It's not freezing. It's like 65 degrees outside.
It's 21 degrees when I got up this morning.
It's like 65 degrees outside.
Now?
No. I've
been doing a couple of shows. I haven't been out of the studio yet today. But it was this morning when I got up.
This morning was very chilly.
It's 55. You guys.
It's 55?
It's not that cold.
It's Hagar weather. That's Sammy Hagar weather.
I don't know what that means.
I woke up today, D'Anthony, and every single news channel was filled with these anniversary. It felt like I was being trolled. It felt like I was being laughed at.
Well, there's one in particular that I think we need to watch and react to.
Well, and we will in a second. Real quick, since we got Belinsky on and the two of you, because I know you didn't watch it this morning. I watched all the speeches as my kids were up, and they started real early in the morning, like it was a 9/11 memorial. And then Kamala Harris got up and spoke and said, this is compared to, on the same level as 9/11 and Pearl Harbor. I don't know how many people died in the January 6th thing, but I have a feeling Pearl Harbor 9/11 was a few more.
Well, there were 7 total deaths that are attributed, right?
Okay.
But most of those are questionable.
3 were of natural causes.
COVID, right?
No. They were all heart issues, I believe. 3 were of natural causes. 2 police suicides. That's 5. And then a woman got trampled by the crowd, and then Ashley Babbitt got shot by a Capitol police officer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some people died, but none of it happened the way they said it did, obviously. And just to be clear, if you're a new listener and you're listening to this, all of those people should be fined or imprisoned for being fucking retards.
Yeah.
All right? Now let's move on to reality, where this doesn't even compare to any of the other shit that's happened over the last couple of years. Much less 9/11, motherfucker. Are you kidding me? God damn it.
Even so, Kamala Harris went on to say of like, things were burning down and all this other stuff. Cities have been burning down for BLM for all summer long, businesses, everything else.
Mostly peaceful.
Yeah, not Kamala not keeping consistency right there.
No,
well, that's because
to say the least.
That's because she donated to the fund to bail those motherfuckers out of jail.
Yeah, she has quite a different perspective on rioting and civil protest, depending on who's doing it, apparently.
Yeah. It's crazy. And so as this was going along, it did feel like a 9/11 memorial or some type of President's Day type thing, where I was just like,
royal wedding.
Yes. Like it was weird. Like,
it was pageantry.
She spoke first, and then Joe Biden came on afterwards. He spoke, and it was all about Trump in the election and everything else.
It was the speech he wanted to give on November 4th of last year.
100%.
And he just couldn't because of all the nonsense, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's like, fuck this motherfucker. He's just mad he got beat, which is true, by the way. Everything that Biden said in that part was true.
Right.
Trump is butthurt that he lost.
Right.
Right? Regardless of if he thinks there's some kind of weird shit going on or not. All of his outbursts have been because of that.
Not a masterclass in losing gracefully or even losing well strategically. Because that's where I go with all this stuff. It's like, even take the good or bad, right or wrong out of it. If you're looking at how Trump reacted to all this stuff, and from a pure strategic perspective, I mean, really bad. Okay, you know, it's like extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, right? So it's like you either have to really have the evidence, or you got to be a little more measured in how you talk about this stuff. Like, had he not gone and just started yelping like a hyena, I won by a lot right off the bat. It's like, you know, I'm not a military guy, but I imagine, you know, some of military strategy is preserving your positions, right? You're not sacrificing all your other positions.
In an interrogation, you never ask a question you don't already know the answer to, ever.
Absolutely.
Right?
But I guess I was saying with Trump, had his response on election night being, okay, we're keeping our eye on, this is just not in his nature, but he'd said, seems like there's some strange stuff going on. We're going to look into it. I'll honor the real results either way, but I think that we should, you know, seems strange. We should be taking a closer look. If he said that in his Trumpy, you know, his Trump vibe, like, he would have preserved so many more potential strategic positions. Instead, I won by a lot, in all caps, exclamation mark. If you don't have anything but the most, like, open and shut
concrete evidence
after that, you're gonna look stupid.
Yeah. And the other thing that I was thinking about as I was watching Biden today and Kamala go after Trump was why. Because I think about that as well, of like, why was that
true?
Well, it's because
why is that your strategy if he's not going to run in 2024?
Well, and also after they saw the case studies with places like the incidents like the Virginia governor's race, where trying to beat that Trump horn drum over and over again doesn't work. It's like, other than the most resistancy type people on earth, who's this really appealing to, right? Like, I understand why they're trying to accentuate the gravity of January 6th and call this an insurrection and all this. I could see that because, like, hey, we've got something to nail the Republicans and Trump.
Politically,
let's try. But if you,
but strategically, it's a mistake.
Like, who the fuck is listening to this, equate this to 9/11, other than like 20% of the most resistancy people on earth, and not thinking this is ridiculous?
Well, that's been the case for some time now. I think that's one of the main contributing factors to why a lot of people who aren't typically drawn in by conspiracy theories think something weird happened in 2020, because 81 million people voting for this dude that drools on himself, and this woman who was the most disliked person and the first ejected out of the DNC race.
Yeah.
Won by that much. That seems weird to a lot of people because of how incompetent they are, and because their messaging speaks only to a very small fraction.
Well, they also didn't campaign. They didn't do any rallies. They didn't. I mean, he was mostly in the basement of his house. You know.
But I want to say, I think that, and it's kind of strange to see how incompetent and bad their messaging has been since they got in the White House. I think Biden's, and I said this at the time, Biden's messaging during the campaign in 2020 was very disciplined, and I think was right on point. Because everything was chaotic on the Trump side. He didn't seem to know how to communicate around COVID. And Biden is just saying, you know, very measured. This is about America's heart and soul and safety and this and that. And it was, I think it was, you know, it was just handing the ball off, but it was a good ground game, right?
Yeah.
He had the offensive line and he had the running back, and he was just handing the ball off 4 or 5 yards in a cloud of dust and kept on picking up first downs. And I think it was, I could tell at the time, I was like, okay, he's really staying on message. And then Trump, you know, trying to portray him as this drooling idiot. And then he went to the debate and was better than a drooling idiot, although not great. I was like, all right, if you told everyone he's going to be a drooling idiot, like, and he performs even mildly adequate, that doesn't look good for you.
Yeah, it's a win. I also think it's a win for Trump today, simply because he doesn't have social media. So you can let today play out all the way around with the pageantry and bullshit, and he can't say anything.
Yeah.
And, you know, Dan, you've said this a million times. His biggest weakness in the last election was that he wouldn't shut the fuck up.
That's probably been his biggest weakness since he's become a business owner, frankly. Like, you can only imagine, based on what we've seen publicly the last 5 years, what private conversations have led to him losing money.
Yeah.
Like, there's no fucking way. We all do a lot of business, the three of us. People like that fuck up deals all the time. All the time.
The one thing I will say, though, is when you are that rich, you can grab people by the pussies. Like, you are allowed, like, you can do that when you're that rich.
When you go and look at his old interviews from the 70s, 80s, or even into the 90s, he's he's much more mature and calm and disciplined. And it's kind of like, okay, because he had to be because he was on his way up. Then he got to fuck you money or fuck you stature. And he's just like, all right, I don't have to fucking placate anybody. I'm going to grip it and rip it.
Which is really unfortunate because he had a lot of really good answers to a lot of problems that have been plaguing America for some time.
Yeah.
And because of his and even we had Batya Ungar Sagar on yesterday, and she said she's a fucking liberal. She's like, yeah, Trump did pretty much. He said what he was going to do, and he did pretty much everything he said he was going to do, and most of it worked.
Yeah.
But all of this.
Yeah. But today, on a day with, again, the pageantry, which we're going to show here now.
Oh, yeah, this is so
because I was unaware. We were doing Ross Pageant Revolution this morning, so we were on. I didn't know that it continued past the Biden speech and everything else. I was like, all right, great. The VP will speak. She'll speak. I did not know that Nancy Pelosi was doing a full hour and a half one-woman stand-up show with interludes of videos. Bob, play this.
It's because this is the Capitol, and we are living in the Hunger Games, my man. That's what's
well, she's wearing a pin.
We're privileged to have a contribution from one of the great creative talents of our time, Lin Manuel Miranda. May his beautiful words
I love
be
the
an
pause.
inspiration to us.
Old white lady's like,
Among
I
the
can't
words
fuck
he
this
said
up.
and in the music, we'll make it right for you.
Oh, this is so fucking
Lay a strong
cringy.
enough foundation.
Hold on,
we'll
pause it
pass
for a second.
on to
Yeah.
you, and
Pause
we'll
it.
give the world
So
to
she
you.
said that listening to Lin Manuel Miranda is going to make it right for you. Is that like when fucking O.J. Simpson's daughter gave the Pepsi to people and then they stopped giving a shit about, or whatever the fuck happened?
Kardashian, yeah.
Yeah, I don't care who those people
Or like
are.
the Celebrity Imagine video.
Oh, we were talking about that earlier.
We just talked about it before we went on air. Because
We wanted to talk about that first, actually, because you guys have all seen it. I want to know if you think that's worse or this is worse, because this is pretty fucking bad.
yeah.
Imagine's worse.
Is it? Because it's got more famous people?
Because they're looking right into the camera, maybe.
And
The black and white.
It's like 2 seconds. It's like during the storm. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's like a month into COVID, maybe less, and they're like everyone's locked in their fucking houses, and then they're in their much larger houses.
There was one really bad one on that with Arnold Schwarzenegger doing an "Everybody Stay Home" video from his fucking jacuzzi. Like I was like, maybe read the room on that one, dude. Not as luxurious for everybody else to stay at their home.
Do it from the broom closet if you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Play this fucking video.
There
Let's
we
see.
go.
Lin Manuel and his father and the Hamilton singers whom we'll hear from said that they were all very honored to be asked to participate today.
Why would you say that?
Yeah, why would you
Call
be
your
honored for
attention
this?
to-
But why would she
A new year
repeat
brings hope
that
for the future,
they were
new energy to
honored?
face the tasks ahead of us, and a renewed promise to strengthen the foundations of our democracy. We are all stewards of the American experiment, working to pass down to our children and our grandchildren a more perfect union.
I hate
that
this
treats
fucking
all
guy,
its
by the way.
citizens with fairness and equity.
You can tell. Look at his eyes. He's
We should
not
never
thinking
take
about
our rights
democracy.
and
He's thinking
liberties
about
for
dongs.
granted. We
Yeah.
must remain
There.
committed to finding a way forward together. That's what I wrote
Who
about
is
in
this
the song
supposed
Dear
to be
Theodosia
for?
from Hamilton. I believe no challenge is worth abandoning our efforts to
And if you look at the lower third, it says January 6th anniversary, which is what we named the show after.
generation.
As if it's a happy thing.
Not remembrance.
No.
I'm here for the anniversary episode. Love it.
We're getting shirts made.
God, that's nice.
I stormed the Capitol and all I got was let in the front door by an FBI agent.
Oh, my God.
You have my eyes, you have your mother's name.
What is this horse shit?
Came into the world, you cried.
Well, our good friend Nick here said it's from his favorite musical, Hamilton.
This song is about Aaron Burr talking to his child about becoming. It's about Aaron Burr becoming a father, basically.
Not anymore.
So I think maybe Nancy Pelosi is telling all of us that she's our father now. Anthony Fauci is the science. Nancy Pelosi, the father.
I would like to see Lin Manuel Miranda make a musical with the rednecks who actually went into the Capitol, and then the shaman is like the lead. I can't watch any more of that, Bob.
No, that's horrible.
I'm gonna end my
That's
life.
nauseating.
Yeah, I definitely hope all of those people get some kind of cancer.
Yeah.
I can't believe. Imagine getting that phone call. You're from Lin Manuel Miranda, and you're forced. If you're a cast member of this, you're forced in it. You're like, oh shit,
Dude, let's.
Hey, did Lin call you?
Yeah.
We gotta fucking do this.
Let's imagine it like the Blues Brothers with them getting the band back together.
Yeah.
Oh God.
What's it for? The January 6th anniversary?
Get in, loser.
And I'm just seeing that a couple of them were like, "Oh man, sorry, came down with the vid."
Yeah.
Oh shit.
What was better,
Got that Omicron, man.
this or the cast of Bob's Burgers showing up last year?
Boy, tough one.
Let's do a January.
call.
Let's make January 6th the musical. Let's make it. It would be like, have you ever seen Run, Ronnie, Run? David Cross.
Yeah.
Where he had fucking, what's the guy's name? Mandy Patinkin.
Mandy Patinkin, yeah.
Playing him in a fucking musical.
Whoa.
Well,
Completely buck naked.
do you know how close that is? So I believe it's Hulu or Discovery Channel. They're running a 5-6-part doc on the insurrection itself. Guess who's narrating it, D'Anthony?
Is it Mandy Patinkin?
It is.
He's got a
Holy
lovely
shit.
voice.
Yeah, well, I
he's
hope so.
narrating
Named
it.
Mandy.
And it dropped today. I forget. It was either Discovery or Hulu. But they were like, and narrated by Mandy Patinkin. And I was like, why is that?
They should have it
Yeah.
narrated by Gilbert Gottfried. That would be way more entertaining.
In what world are we storming the Capitol with a Viking helmet?
So let's go through. I just want to go through some stats before we move on here to put this all in perspective. We obviously don't need to show any stats between Pearl Harbor 9/11 and January 6th because I think everybody's already got those numbers and cooked into their brain forever. We can skip that. Let's just talk about some recent shit. So about $1.5 million in damage was done per court records to the Capitol. I don't know how they're gauging that because I didn't see a whole lot of damage. Maybe the new floor wax they had to put on was really expensive.
Well, when homeboys shot through that glass, you replaced the glass.
And they had to
too.
clean that woman's blood up off the ground too.
Yeah, that's extra. That's not part of just your 9 to 5.
Right. And the legacy media likes to say that 7 people died as a result of the Capitol riot. But what they don't say is how many people were killed by Capitol rioters, and the number is 0. Just to be clear, right? Yeah. So somewhere over the summer of 2020, between 25 and 36, depending on which number you believe, people were killed by BLM and Antifa rioters.
Right.
Somewhere in that, including Dorn, the ex-police captain. I think that was in St. Louis, right?
Yeah, suburban St. Louis.
David Dorn, yeah.
None of those people count, Dan. They weren't at the Capitol, so.
Well, he was black, though.
It was for a good cause.
And keep in mind, that part was during the pandemic, as they like to say. About $1 billion in damage, so 1,000 times more in damage, at least. And here's the difference. The damage was done to private property versus the government. Now, if you're a police officer or the Department of Justice or any of these other entities, your job is to protect and serve whom? Not the government, not Congress, the people of the country, right?
Well, I'm going to go and say, listen, these government buildings and these halls of power and the Capitol building are expressions of the people's will as part of the social contract with the government. So, I mean, I understand why some people are painting this as sacred territory and an invasion of a contamination of sacred territory, but they're still exaggerating.
Right, but police stations and federal buildings in the Pacific Northwest also expressions of the collective authority,
Absolutely.
and those were burned down to the ground, and that's not something that happened there. 140 U.S. cities came under attack. These numbers are coming from Axios, by the way, so it's not like it's fucking.
It's a lefty.
What's the daily?
They're not gonna lie
Daily
about it.
Stormer or whatever the fuck that goddamn neo-Nazi shit is. This is just propaganda nonsense. But there's another instance in 2018. Brett Kavanaugh was being pushed through to the Supreme Court. People were unhappy about it because some lady said that he kissed her at a party 85 years ago.
But she doesn't remember where, when, why. There are no dates, no nothing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So the Women's March, which was also, that was going to happen anyway, I think, because it was an anti-Trump march in general, descended on D.C., came to the Capitol, broke through Capitol barriers, ran over fucking police. And, oh, by the way, in the riots last summer, over 1,000 police officers were injured as well, if you're going to talk about that. But so these Women's March protesters break through a police barricade, make their way up to the Capitol, which was already barricaded, so they couldn't get in. So they went to, which building was it? Just want to be clear on this. What's the name of the goddamn building?
Lincoln Memorial. Let's just say it was the Lincoln Memorial.
One of them was
they're all the
they
Lincoln
ripped
Memorial.
Lincoln right out of the chair.
Yeah. One of them was the Hart Senate building. So they went to the Senate building, and that's the picture you see of all of them wrapped around them. Now, about 500 people have been arrested or questioned in connection with the Capitol riot. Mm-hmm. I think 300 and something were charged. 293 people were arrested just in this one location this day. Another 10 at a separate location down the street. But that doesn't qualify somehow.
Same numbers, right?
Like
As Pearl Harbor and 9/11.
Yeah.
293?
It's the same approximate number of people doing effectively the same thing. One's on one side, one's on the other, and you see how they're reacted to.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre.
Well, if it's going to be, if how they're portraying this is that because it's the Capitol building and such a symbol of, our nation and American unity and blah, 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 and it's sacred territory, and in and of itself, attacking or invading that building is inherently 1,000 times more destructive than attacking any other building, then where was the outrage or where was even the chatter? I mean, how many people even heard about that or were aware of
Well, I heard about it because of Amy Schumer got arrested that day. Amy Schumer, by the way, you may know her from being a fucking walrus.
Yeah,
in her spare time.
She had a great sketch show for a while, and her stand-up was pretty fucking good.
Her stand-up was good when she was telling racist jokes and rape jokes.
She got super famous and rich, and then felt bad about it the same way like Sarah Silverman, and everybody else. So it's Patton Oswalt, they're on an apology tour.
Quite a fraternity and sorority of pop culture characters and comedians who were funny in the late 90s and 2000s, and then when woke
they
came
made their
around,
millions during that period, and then afterward they were like, "Oh, we're rich enough. We're cool."
The worst of those is Sacha Baron Cohen. It's like, fuck you, Borat. Like, don't sit there, Borat. Like, you made your money, with a video of like your obese Armenian sidekick running naked through a lobby. You don't get to lecture people on the way to live their life. Like, no, just because you're rich.
And his home country of Kazakhstan's dealing with a lot of shit right now too. So maybe he should focus on that.
Yeah. Well, he's they were quick to point out Kazakhstan. We have nothing to do with Borat in these articles, and it was like
that's their official country slogan now. I think
it has to be. So by the way, in case you were wondering, 2 Republicans were at this Nancy Pelosi event today. These are strange ones to me. Former Vice President Dick Cheney was there.
He was there with his daughter Liz.
Yes.
Because she's done a pretty good job of apparently brainwashing people into not remembering that he's one of the biggest pieces of shit in the history of this country.
And an interesting question are the Republicans who are the most guilty and responsible for Iraq trying to cover their ground in attaching themselves to January 6th, just like the comedians and pop culture types are trying to cover their tracks from how they made their money and now getting all woke?
And anti-Trumpism in general, probably. You're probably onto something there, yeah. But it may be less about that one individual event and more just about protecting the aristocracy, right? Because that's what patricians do, is protect other patricians.
Yeah, definitely part of it.
End. That's a good thing to think about. I don't know, but Dick Cheney's a cunt.
People on Twitter right now are going after this Hamilton video and everything. Like, everything that we've just talked about is trending, and they're like, who thought this was a good idea?
Rob had a really good idea this morning. He said, even in the most liberal cabinet, you need one, like, frat dude that says, hey, this is fucking gay.
Pump the brakes, guys.
This is gay. You can't do it, man. Fuck. This is not going to be received the way you think it's going to be received.
It's insane to me.
There's no way. Are they even doing polling anymore? And if so, who's doing their polling? Because this shit is wild,
It's strange, man. I mean, it seems like, once again, after the recent elections and the Virginia governors and, like, New Jersey's Democratic governor escaping by, like, 2-3 points, maybe what you're selling people aren't buying. Maybe you got to change course a little bit, but it doesn't seem to have dawned on them.
No, and they keep going. Like, Nancy Pelosi appears to have, if you can find the picture of her, Bob, from earlier today on this podium, it's like a Hunger Games pin, but it appears as if they've made their own golden commemorative anniversary pin for January 6th. Because I have never seen this. I'm being totally serious when I say this. It sounds like a joke. But
it's fucking ridiculous. I'm going to get a Steele dossier pin. Start wearing that shit around. And whenever anybody asks me what it is, I'm going to tell them.
You're going to tell them.
In a 35-minute elevator pitch.
Yeah, it looks like when you see it, if you're able to pan in past that mic, there it is. It seems like a torn flag, maybe. Like, did everybody get these, or was this just her? And are these going to be for sale? Because, you know, I obviously want one.
Why don't we should make, since they're doing it, why don't we make up our own fucking incident to have a remembrance for? Remember the time the Macho Man Randy Savage ran through Louisville, Kentucky, just tearing people's heads off for no reason?
Oh, boy, the backlash. And this is where Twitter wins today. And it's like somebody wanted Paul Giamatti rapping My Neck, My Back as John Adams.
And they could have used Nancy Pelosi and those other people wearing the kente cloths when they fucking did it. That also happened last year.
It did.
Bob, add that to the list.
Add that to the list.
Wasn't there some feet washing as well?
Oh, yeah.
No shortage of feet washing.
Christ.
No. So if you're out there enjoying your January 6th anniversary today, congratulations. Today's the day for you. I asked Bob earlier, I was like, is there at least a Thursday night football game on? Or is this going to take over prime time as well? There is no Thursday night football game.
Well, that's why I'm going to Jared's house to smoke DMT tonight. So.
That's true, by the way.
It is true. Yeah. It's absolutely true.
Next up, you were talking about the Steele dossier.
Yeah, while we're at it, while it's January 6th and people are trying to make, like one of the big narratives is that this was an assault on democracy, right?
Yeah.
And
in the election.
We've said this the very moment that it happened because we were watching it live. If Trump had just come out like his son was texting his campaign manager to do, and like or his chief of staff rather, like pretty much everybody from Fox News was texting him to do, come out and said, hey, shut up, go home. We're not doing this way.
Right.
That would have ended it, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't think that Trump or anybody on his staff had 400 hillbillies numbers on speed dial. Like, hey, we're going to do it, buddy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And the most armed subset of the most armed population on earth all forgot their guns at home like fucking Deadpool going to rescue his girlfriend. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid.
But, you know, it goes back to the origination and original causality that he... Like, what was he fucking thinking was going to happen?
He
like,
obviously.
What did he think he was going to gain from having a rally that day and instructing those people to go march towards the Capitol? Like, you got to do, bro, cost, benefit, and risk, reward here. Like, the tail risk of what happening. Sorry, bro. If you play with fire and you're going to get burnt, and you got burned.
He was all in, and it was a mistake.
Yeah, but what it wasn't, it was incompetence. And ego.
Yeah.
What it wasn't, what it was not, was a calculated move to overturn an election.
No,
right?
exactly.
That's nonsense. Now, the Steele dossier is precisely that. That is exactly what it was. Had Trump used the RNC, for example, to hire a foreign agent to fabricate evidence, right, against Biden because he won, suggesting that Biden was colluding with Russia and blah, blah, blah with the election, that would be the trial of the century, and that person should go to jail forever.
Yeah.
And if the sitting president, the lame duck president, had used that fabricated evidence over the organization that he presided over to weaponize the FBI and CIA to illegally spy on the Trump campaign and the Trump presidency, and use the FBI to push this narrative into the public, which led to multiple impeachments and blah, 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 that would be a big problem too. Well, that's exactly what the fuck happened. That was a direct assault on democracy. That's precisely what it was. So that's why I see a lot of people on Twitter today talking about, there's a lot of whataboutism about the January 6th thing. Like, no, I thought those people were fucking stupid. I thought they were a bunch of fucking dumb rednecks. But what they weren't doing was colluding with foreign agents and paying people to fabricate evidence to overthrow the fucking government that had been duly elected. Because that's what Obama and Hillary Clinton and the DNC did.
Yeah.
There's no fucking question about that now. And nobody is going to jail for it, ever.
And just where's the space? Like, how do so few people find the space to, one, acknowledge January 6th and be critical of that, but also accept that what was done was with the Steele dossier and it's not being a legitimate basis for probable cause to, catalyze the
entire intelligence
community. Exactly. In the way that it was. Yeah. Like, where's the space to acknowledge both of these things as very bad?
Well, I don't think the left's problem has become severe myopia, right?
Yeah.
They can't fucking see past their own fucking fat guts anymore. They're stupid as shit. Like this, all this stuff going on right now about how they want to fucking kill the filibuster. How do they not know they're going to lose the House in 22? Like, they're going to get fucking hammered in 22. And if they lose the House and the Senate and they kill the filibuster, now they're in fucking trouble, right?
It's going to be interesting.
It's 10 months away at this point.
Like, do you want to... It's like you have all the tools here to build a weapon that will wipe out everything. Would you build that weapon and just leave it there? Because that's what you're doing if you kill the filibuster.
And I'm wondering, I mean, where's their blind spot coming from? Are they that alienated and out of touch, or are they now so far down the road,
like spent cost fallacy?
Yeah,
part of that, but maybe. Also, are they so far down the road with their act? Because this is what happened in Los Angeles, right? In certain blue cities, is that the politicians, even ones who came in as moderate Democrats, the activist groups and the interest groups and the money sources that originally put them in office started becoming more left-wing, and they got so far down the road with them, they're like, all right, well, we can't oppose them anymore.
You can't.
Is that what's happening here?
That's what I feel is happening. And then I've also said this on a few episodes. I feel like the party's fractured versus the super progressive who's just like, we want the craziest shit on the planet.
Well, it almost happened to Republicans, too, with the Tea Party.
Tea Party, yeah.
But the Republicans pretty effectively killed all the Tea Party people off.
Like, but it took years.
It is weird.
Not that long. It took it took 8 years.
Yeah.
Which seems like a long time, but it's not that long. Steve King was the last one, and he just got all of his shit taken away, 2019?
Yeah.
I guess?
Yep.
So you don't hear from Michelle Bachmann anymore, do you?
No.
All of them are out.
I guess Gomer's still around, that fucking goober.
I think, but that's about it. And I think it's going to take a while to clean out this current class.
Well, they have to want to clean it out first.
Well, okay, but so you're seeing the first instances of the pushback within the Dem Party. One, I mean, just the existence of Eric Adams, the New York mayor, who's like outright saying, like, no, I'm not going to give these fucking criminals an iPad and tell them everything's going to be okay. Like, they got to be handled with, harshly. And then the San Francisco mayor, London Breed, like, announcing a pretty significant refunding the police tough on crime initiative in San Francisco. And then there's just a big bat. I don't know if you've been tracking that one.
She learned a really important lesson, which is that if you ignore progressives, they'll go find something else to bitch about, right? Like, she got lit the fuck up for like 6 straight days, and I haven't heard a peep about it ever since.
Yeah, it's going to be those are the two, and now you're seeing it with Lori Lightfoot with the Chicago,
teachers,
with the teachers union. So you're starting to see it where it's like a few of these Democratic, local politicians are realizing, wait a second, this ship's going down. I'm not going down with it. But now they have to pick this fight with the activist class that they've been relying on.
Yeah, but I think one of the differences is a lot of the Tea Party people were funded by the Koch brothers and their whole fucking shit. I don't know who's funding the progressives. Soros is
He's definitely doing some of it.
People really enjoyed making fun of people who believed George Soros was funding nefarious shit in the United States for a pretty long time.
Yeah.
And now he's just doing it out in the open.
Yeah, in plain sight.
Like, he gave $1 million to the Gavin Newsom recall effort. He funded, 275 district attorney and sheriff races across the country over the last 5 years or so.
Yeah, and it's like this is being reported in Politico and the LA
and nobody
Times.
Cares.
Yeah.
Nothing happens.
They're finally now, once again, at least from what I'm seeing in LA, the place becomes completely lawless and little old ladies are getting shot in their house, now people finally wake up.
So what is it? Politico and the New York Times wrote that story about, we've covered it about the Southwest Keys program that detains these young, primarily male immigrants that don't have families here and shit like that. And there's a whole money laundering scheme where they use public money, they loan it to their private companies, the people that sit on the board loan it to their own private companies, buy real estate, and then rent the real estate back to themselves at 100x sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And New York Times did a piece about this in 2019, nothing. And Politico's done the story that you're talking about. I've seen it, nothing. Do you think it's just cover your ass? Like, see, we did a fucking story on this. What do you want us to do? Or did they do the report and say, all right, nobody, is it like releasing a little fart and nobody notices, so you start to release a bigger one?
I think here's my guess, with social media.
Test fart.
Test fart. Most of these things are with social media. AI is wiping out most of these news articles anyways. And then everybody else who would care about this probably wouldn't share it anyways. And it's not like somebody's dropping a newspaper off at your door anymore. Therefore, if it's on the internet, and you miss it for that day or that hour, people move on to whatever the fucking next thing is. I think there's probably some genuinely good journalists that are trying out there, but their stories are getting buried, and then they're not getting rehired or being asked back to write some more articles.
Newsweek's been putting out a lot of very critical of the left articles.
Newsweek's been very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not surprisingly, they're one of the oldest news institutions around. They're like one of the ones that, like the Post isn't doing. The Post and the Times are here. The Post and the Times in New York are here. Like
one's right, one's left. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like.
Well, I mean, but then you look at the two, the bifurcation between Time and Newsweek. They used to be kind of similar, and then Time went one way, clickbaity, and Newsweek is like not trying to do actual journalism.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they do quite a bit of actual journolism.
Yeah, they're good.
The last thing I'll say about this insurrection was, if you want to call it that, you and I were live on air last year. Mm-hmm. It was a 6.5-hour show.
With the Bro Bible guy.
With Francis Ellis.
Yeah.
So I love Francis Ellis, by the way. But
awesome.
we told him live on air because he didn't have anything up on his computer. We were like, hey, man, we hate to interrupt you.
Yeah.
People are storming the Capitol building. And he was like, what? If you got to see the look of shock on his face, it was fucking priceless because we were live on YouTube. So Dan, eventually after like an hour and a half, he's like, hey guys, he was the senior editor at Bro Bible. He's like, I got to hop off and do my own coverage. And we're like, go. And he goes, super sorry. I love your audience. I love everything. And I was like, great. So he hopped off. Dan and I stayed on for like another 5 hours. YouTube ended up banning the video later on in the night. So we had at one point, I think 20,000 people watching live. It doesn't exist anymore, but that was one of the funnest shows of all time. I haven't laughed that hard in fucking years, and I still haven't. Each person that was running through the Capitol was even more shocking. And when the shaman took the podium at the thing and was with the Viking helmet on, tears, like physical tears were coming out of my eyes.
It's got to be like, I mean, I've been in quite a bit of war, right? And if I showed up and the other team looked like that, it's got to feel like in Hoosiers when they show up and they're all white, like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. We're not losing this game, boys.
I laughed so hard, and they pulled the video, so it doesn't exist anymore. I don't know if it's in our back channel or whatever, but I don't think so because it was live. But God damn it, man! I just want to say how much I enjoyed that day, and happy anniversary. Yeah, happy anniversary. And if you're at home having an anniversary, get a Ghostbed from ghostbed.com/drinking bros. That's a real anniversary. Treat your wife to a nice mattress to fuck on. Earlier in the day, we spent way too much time on the Tanya Harding sex tape. There was some debate of whether it was Waterbed or a Best Western, whatever it was. I can tell you it wasn't a Ghostbed from ghostbed.com/drinking bros. That's the finest mattress in the land. They would have been way more relaxed on that thing. They still have the 40% off bundle packages with the adjustable base and the mattress going on right now. Or if you just want things separately, if you want to get a mattress by itself, pillows, a weighted blankets, sheets, whatever you want, it's 30% off with the URL ghostbed.com/drinking bros. I usually say, as always, they got a 36-month pay-as-you-go program, but it upped. It upped, Bob. What was the final total? Did they up it to 70 months?
It's up to 60 months, yeah.
60 months?
Yeah, so
I didn't
5
realize
years,
that.
yeah.
Fuck you, dude.
I've also heard that you could use them to barricade, so...
Oh, so if your place is getting insurrected, if your place is getting run over by 200 and what was it, 93 people?
Well, that was the old one. This one's like 330. So.
Okay, so if
that extra 37 people, that's what makes it an insurrection.
Those were the bad apples.
if you're worried about your house getting taken over, beautiful barricades, very thick. It's going to take people a while to get through them. Go to ghostbed.com/drinking bros. Today, next up, Super Bowl in Los Angeles, maybe in jeopardy, maybe.
I don't know if I believe it. I mean, I've seen a lot of people talking about it. I've seen some people in positions of authority from the NFL talking about it. Mm-hmm. But what they say is this is a pretty standard thing, just in case something might happen.
Well, the reason why this was brought up is the Grammys were postponed yesterday. And that's going to take place at Staples Center on January 29th.
Does anybody watch the Grammys?
Well, they go in person. I know because well, it's not Staples Center anymore. It's the Crypto.com Center, so forgive me on that. They changed the name. I worked at Staples. I had to work the Grammys. I was a waiter there back in the day.
People are still going to call it Staples Center for the next 10 years.
Oh, forever. Yeah. Nobody's going to call it the Crypto.com Center. But with that, there was about 20,000 people, close to 19,000, that were in there to watch it. I'm assuming that's why they shut it down, was to not have that. So the problem is, if you're Los Angeles, and Matt, you are still living there currently, if you're shutting that down for 19,000 people, SoFi Stadium's got about 70,000. How do you justify that 2 weeks later if you're postponing? Because, by the way, the Grammys is an indefinite postponement.
Yeah.
They don't have a new date yet.
Yeah, there's no valid justification, right?
Well, I think from the business part of it, from the Grammys and the NFL part, it's because of mask mandates. That's probably why the Grammys can't do a shit. There's an indoor mask mandate. They're not going to have 19,000 people, including probably like 400 or 500 celebrities sitting there wearing masks for 3 hours. It's not going to happen.
Not longer than that.
Also, listen, you can postpone the Grammys even if it's 2 months afterwards. You can't postpone the NFL's not going to let you. The LA has a monopoly on the Grammys. It's happening in LA whenever it's happening, right? Yeah. They don't have a monopoly on the Super Bowl. They got to play ball with the NFL. The NFL's got to, it's kind of like, all right, I don't know if you know about this, but LA there was a just horrendous squalor homeless encampment across the VA in Brentwood as you curve into San Vicente. They needed to run the marathon through that. Oh, after 2 years, that homeless encampment got cleaned up pretty quick.
Just for that day?
No, it's cleaned up permanently.
Oh, it is?
Because they all moved down to Hollywood and Vine.
It hasn't popped back up, but it just shows you these problems and these conditions that they say are unsolvable are going to take a while. They can clean it up pretty quick when they got to do it for business and events and things like that. And that's really what's going on here. They can postpone the Grammys, so they're doing it. They're not postponing the Super Bowl. And there's too many moving parts here. I don't think they're moving it.
Well, so one theory that somebody floated before we went on air was that the mask mandate ends in LA February 15th. This game is on February 13th. Will they move it up 2 days in order for that? Because, the Super Bowl, Dan and I have been to 3 or 4 of these, and we usually do a whole week there and do live shows with all the celebrities and everything. It's a blast.
You know how it is.
Yeah, it's a blast. This one we refused to go to because it was in LA, and we're not wearing masks. Dead serious.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
We pulled out a SHOT Show, too.
We pulled out of Vegas. Yeah, same thing.
Masks. I'm not doing that shit.
So it's just not fun anymore to do that and to try to work around that with cameras and everybody else. No, it's not. And then you have people's publicists saying, don't go on that show without a mask on, or you're going to look like a fucking asshole. We ran into that as well, and we're not doing it. But with this, the Super Bowl is still one of those bucket list items that you plan for, and it's like no matter who the teams are, people are going to travel to LA to go to the Super Bowl just to say that they went.
Yeah.
I don't see Los Angeles canceling it for that reason because it's too much money.
But that's not the majority of the money made Super Bowl week in the city aren't from ticket sales at the game.
Right.
It's from all the other peripheral shit that's happening. And none of that shit's going to happen now. I mean, some of it will, right? But not to the degree it will and not with the exposure it would. And I think companies know that. If I'm advertising Super Bowl week, doing local guerrilla advertising, I'm not.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to fucking see it.
Yeah.
Well, one of the features now of any Super Bowl or any big entertainment event is that a lot of brands and a lot of LA, New York nightlife brands kind of do travel out to it and do pop-up events and
they
things
get
like that.
Like Tuesday night will be this company's party and Thursday night is this company's party. It's the same thing.
So I am wondering, I probably should check in with some of my people in that sphere. But okay, one, the LA nightlife brands, they're already there. They already have venues, so they're just going to keep on operating their venues as they were, right? But the brands that were trying to do events, that's interesting. And I'm sure this is going to be pretty disruptive for them. And these are not small events, dude. Brands will throw $500,000.
Yeah, they rent out a warehouse for fucking 5,000 or 10,000 square foot warehouse and throw a massive fucking party.
Well, so with Barstool, when they were doing the bowl game in Arizona that got canceled for them, they were asking Dave Portnoy about how much money he would lose, and he goes, "It's not just the money off the game; it's all the parties we had planned and all the tickets we had sold for all the events that were going on for the 48 hours leading up to it." So.
And all the content creation too, man. That's the downstream effect. So it gets fucked up in February, but next winter when they're using that to advertise for all their shit coming up this year doesn't exist.
And influencer deals, because a lot of influencer deals come from the brands having them do content or appear as part of a campaign for whatever they're doing around a big event like that. It's a cascading effect for sure.
Yeah.
So we have a ticketing company, DrinkinBrosTickets.com, reached out to our partner Benny this morning about this because I knew we were going to talk about this today. And the city that was pitched was Dallas. Now, Texas, obviously no mandates. Jerry Jones was all in and said, yes, we'll do the Super Bowl here.
Arlington reached out to them, to the NFL proactively.
Yes.
Is the word. That's what ESPN said.
Yes, and Homeboy made a quick call and said, we'll have this in a second. Like, don't worry about it. Jerry Jones was like, we're on it. We're good to go. Benny, though, our partner, was saying that, because he gets the inside info from the NFL owners, he said, look, this is a contingency plan. He goes, there is no way that Los Angeles would give up this much money. And he goes, I promise you with everything holy, the owners have already said, this is going on in LA. Regardless, the only thing to look out for is whether or not they move up that mandate a couple days to accommodate.
For sure. And also, this is a bit of a showcase for the new stadium. You know,
oh, it
this
is. It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Because Super Bowls are planned out about 4 or 5 years in advance for the cities. Same with the All-Star Game. So when they canceled in Atlanta, they're not going back to Atlanta
Next
anymore.
year's in Vegas, right? I mean, it's pretty common for a new stadium to get a Super Bowl very quickly.
Yes.
Particularly if it's in a major TV market.
Yeah.
Right? That almost always happens.
Yeah. Now, Vegas would be a great place to go see a Super Bowl.
If they're done with all their nonsense next year, we'll go to that one.
We'll find out. We'll be on the 80th variant by then, so we'll see. We'll see. If you're out there dealing with a variant, take some Liquid IV from liquidiv.com. Look, they got everything at liquidiv.com. You got to hydrate. 16 ounces of water, boom, you pour some in, you're good to go real quickly. So if you're super hungover, or if it's the wintertime and you're not drinking as much as you do in the summer because it's not hot out and you forget, pour a packet into one of these little guys. 16 ounces, it'll hydrate you. Double is the time. I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying here. Double the time is like, look, it's like drinking fucking 34 ounces of water.
It's actually
32?
Triple. It's triple.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Whatever.
So they use their proprietary technology. They call it cellular transport technology.
Oh, you're right.
It's just an emulsifier that makes water molecules bond to blood molecules better. Yeah. Right? So you get more hydrated from the same amount of water, basically, is what it does.
3 times the electrolytes from traditional sports drinks. I've had one of these every goddamn day for, 4 or 5 years at this point. This was a company that we reached out to personally just because I drink it every day. And I was like, hey, can you just be a sponsor on the show? I'm already drinking it anyways. And they were like, yeah, bet.
It's close to the same technology that people use to make edibles, by the way. Or things that you can put in, like THC and CBD shit you can put in water. Yep. It's the same thing. It's an emulsifier that takes an oil down to a place where it can bond with blood.
B3, B5, B6, B12, and vitamin C in it. And the flavors are endless.
Science, bitch.
Yeah, apple pie, watermelon's my fucking jam, my go-to. And that new yellow-orange, whatever that flavor is,
Are you talking about
the one? Pina colada is what I had this morning.
No, the bright orange one is the one for the emergency replacement.
Yeah,
you don't have to take emergency.
Well, they've got an immunity booster as well. Yeah. They're the best in the biz.
There's a new one too that came out. I think they have a Concord grape coming out now.
Do they really?
If you're a grape person,
and we are.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. That's all. I like Daddy's.
I enjoy grape.
Daddy's in the grape. You can grab a Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco if you want. Or you get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com. Use the promo code DrinkinBros at checkout. It's 25% off anything you order when you use the promo code DrinkinBros at liquidiv.com. Experience better hydration today at liquidiv.com. Promo code DrinkinBros, 25% off. Don't walk into Costco, check out, and then just scream Drinkin' Bros in the cashier's face. They're not going to give you 25% off. Just order it directly to your house.
You don't know that. What if the person working the register is also a Drinkin' Bro?
Well, good luck. Good luck on that one. Because I think they're getting rid of most of the cashiers there.
Don't get fired, by the way, for trying to give another Drinkin' Bro a discount.
Or do.
No, don't.
25% off.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it's 25% off.
That's dumb.
Next up, taxed to death here. Belinsky, you're all over this fucking story here. Venmo, PayPal, Cash App will now have to report transactions totaling more than $600 to the IRS as Biden plans to ramp up financial enforcement. The new reporting requirement alleges to ensure that small businesses that receive payments through those apps are paying their fair share in taxes. Remember all that talk about the Biden's plans to not touch the middle class? Well, you can go fuck yourself, you pores. It's basically what he's saying. We're going to go through everything you have here.
They haven't done anything to repeal any of the fucking corporate tax cuts, and the first big piece of legislation they pass has like 3 different things that fuck the middle class.
All small business owners are using these apps to operate.
Yeah, I mean, I get it's a little bit more of it shines some light on what Biden is going to do in terms of enforcement, right? And the whole idea that, all right, we all know that everyone is out there not reporting every dollar that comes in, and we don't necessarily have enough surveillance and enough personnel to check it all. So, okay, we're hiring more agents. We're going to be taking a closer look. Don't try not reporting this income. And it was kind of accepted with that balance of everybody acknowledging that the tax code would be in place, but not entirely enforced. That, listen, we're not going to be peeking in and requiring documentation for 2 sides of a transaction for stuff that's really small. I think the threshold previously for Venmo was $20,000.
$20,000 total annual
20,000,
revenue,
right?
Yeah.
So now, much like, hey, not everyone who might pay you might issue a 1099, right? Someone might pay $800 for something,
Right,
and they're not reporting it to the government. Now, at least by the letter of the law, these apps are supposed to report everything above $600, and theoretically, it increases enforcement and IRS capture of income for tax purposes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot, too. So the rule is only good for goods and services transactions, not personal ones right now, but the personal ones still get reported. Right.
But it's going to be interesting as they try to sift through that. How trusting or not trusting they're going to be, and what criteria are they going to use to judge whether or not something is a personal transaction or a business transaction.
It's absolute nonsense. So, like, there's also you don't have to report if they're selling something at a loss, right? So if you buy a couch for $1,000 and you sell it for $500, that doesn't have to get reported. How does PayPal know that that's what happened in my fucking life?
Yeah.
That's nonsense. And the reason I wanted to talk about this today, just like it underscores how the left doesn't care about poor people. They just hate rich people, right? Unless they're rich, and then it's fine. And the other part of it is the way they're trying to come after people for taxes is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. Like in one speech, it's protect the middle class. In the next speech, it's let's cut off every opportunity these people have at upward mobility, right? And it comes back to me, I think the best version of it, not best version, but the best example of it is taxing unrealized gains. Mm-hmm. Like people that are getting into the stock market now for the first time. It was never a problem before for people to get super wealthy in the stock market, and then even on crypto, it was fine until normal people started getting rich. And then all of a sudden, the government's like, hey, we gotta get in here and explain what taxing on unrealized gains is for the audience, and then why it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, and lastly, Gigi's got a great point here. She said corporate tax rates are historically pretty low right now, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, shed some light on...
Yeah, so when you purchase any asset, whether it's a share of stock in a publicly traded company or make an investment in a private company, the cash, the actual money has left your possession, and you've exchanged it in exchange for an asset, for a share of stock or membership interest in an LLC or God knows what, right?
But it's not considered a good until it's a security, right?
Well, I don't think, not very rarely in only some realms of the galaxy is it considered a good. But in either case, the cash is leaving your possession, and in exchange, you're getting access to an illiquid asset that only becomes liquid once you sell it, right? So the value of that security that you purchase may increase or decrease, both in real time in the public stock market, or theoretically based on a number of different criteria, in private companies. It could be based on what the last valuation of a major funding round is, or God knows what, right? Couple different ways to value that. So unrealized gains means that you're being taxed on the value of the asset before you've actually sold it. So you still don't have access to the money,
right?
Theoretically. So I was like, how the hell are people supposed to pay?
Well, how do you even track any of that stuff? Like you said, it's a problem to identify at what point do you pay taxes and based on what rubric do you pay them. So just for example, let's say I own one Bitcoin, it's worth $100,000, and I pay a 15% tax on that. I pay $15,000. But what if it goes down to 90? Do I get a refund?
Yeah.
What if it goes up to 150? Do I have to pay more?
Exactly.
And how often do they re-adjudicate that case through the year? It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well, because the whole idea of you're transferring some funds from private individuals and citizens to the government, and there has to be a basis for which to determine when to calculate that and when to transfer it, right? And the whole idea is just structurally, like for practical purposes, is until you have a firm, until you've determined what the value is at the point at which you calculate it, like there's no basis on which to calculate how much a person owns, because it can be, one, because it's the valuation can be fluctuating, and two, because they don't have the possession of the cash because they haven't liquidated the asset yet. So it's just forget even good, bad, moral, unethical, or what is justified. It's just from completely impractical to be taxing, and the reason it's never been done like this before, to be calculating tax liability and collecting taxes based on a gain or a loss that's been unrealized. Like that's the whole notion of it. It's unrealized as of the moment.
Well, that's true. Now, crypto puts a new wrinkle because Giorgio's got a fucking debit card where he can spend his crypto directly now. So that is...
Do you really?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's backed by Visa. So that's...
It doesn't matter. Either way, it's still, at that point, it is an effective good. And it has to be treated differently than a stock you hold. Even the security has to be treated differently, even than the security. Security means... the difference between a stock and a security is stock is going to fluctuate. Security will reach maturity no matter what. It's guaranteed to reach maturity. So crypto is not like that. It fluctuates. If he goes to the bar right now and uses that card, he's getting value based on what the crypto on that card is worth right now. Right. In the moment. But you can't tax that way. There's no way to practically do that either. But it's still not the same as a stock where you can hold on to it for 30 years and you can't use it. Like that is a realized gain at that point. As soon as he makes a fucking transaction,
there's definitely a stronger basis, right? Because
but I still don't know how you fucking go about dealing with.
And by the way, that's why crypto has been down the last 2 days. Is because they're trying to figure out how you're going to tax this.
There's all sorts of fucking problems with that. Like how do you track any of it in the first place? And to do an audit, you need a warrant now because that is an encrypted device. Right? Your fucking Coinbase account or whatever else, that's an encrypted device. You can give the government whatever you feel like giving them, and they have to get a warrant to prove otherwise. That's going to set up a whole, like, super fucking angry... Like, if you think people are mad at the IRS now, about 55% of the country thinks they should be fucking completely done away with. It'll be 85% of the country overnight if you start doing shit like that.
Yeah, Giorgio, so how does your credit card work with crypto?
It's not a credit card, it's a debit card.
So, it's a debit card.
And this is what I talk about before when I talk about the exchanges or any of these companies. They want to eat you up on fees. So it'll sell my crypto, whatever coin I would select to be charged with, immediately to cover the transaction purchases.
Well, no. Visa's buying your crypto. Yes. They're not selling it.
Right.
Yeah. I just want to be clear. They're not putting it on the market and selling it. They're buying it from you because they know it's going to go up later. Which means they're getting the fees that you're paying plus the fucking return on investment because that thing is going up. Just to be clear.
Not fully aware on how that works between Visa and Coinbase. Because
I know how human beings work. That's exactly how it works. Right?
But yes, what I like to do is I like to I check crypto daily and multiple times a day, and I'll move it to what's called a stable coin, which is at the US dollar of value. And the purpose of this coin is to always stay at $1. And so say one of my crypto coins is up a little bit, I'll move that into USD coin, and I set my debit card to purchase off of that. So if anything's ever down, I'll move money back into whatever coin is down. If that's up, at that point in the day, I'll move that back to my US dollar or US dollar coin.
That's really interesting. But let's say we paid you in whatever crypto you wanted, and you do what you do, which is what most crypto people do, which is move their crypto around from one place to another and so on and so forth based on market trends or based on practicality or whatever other reason. How the fuck could any federal government institution ever track any of that? Like they would have to have direct AI access, not even human beings, but AI access to all of the fucking blockchains to do anything even remotely similar to that. But it's all decentralized and encrypted.
Yeah.
And anonymous in a lot of cases.
So do you report that at all, Giorgio, then? Because, I mean, look, we've already flipped into a new year. Taxes are going to be coming up soon. Do you have to report any of that? How does that work?
I don't know. I just
no one else does either, buddy.
I've had it for like a month now. Basically, I've had this card, and what's cool is I can select different coins that I can get cash back on, which I'm not really sure why or how.
No shit.
Yeah, so I get 4% back on this coin that I like called AMP, which is an intermediary coin, which is used to like validate transactions between businesses and the blockchain itself to make it more instantaneous.
So it's like Stripe, or it's like a credit card processor, but for crypto specifically.
Yes, yeah, pretty much.
Did you buy any Let's Go Brandon coins? That just came out.
No, but they're banned from NASCAR.
Are they really?
They told the guy he couldn't use that as a sponsor, even though some middle manager at NASCAR told them on December 26th that it's all approved. You can do whatever you want. He's like, all right, sweet. And then 2 days ago when the press found out about it, NASCAR all of a sudden's like, no, we're not doing that. We don't want to get involved in anything political, even though they had a fucking Obama car in a goddamn race car video game. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
How many Democrats watch NASCAR?
0 Democrats watch NASCAR and 4 or 5 Republicans. Nobody watches that shit anymore. I've told this story before, but the Pocono Raceways offered Black Rifle in 2017, like back in the day, naming rights for the full year for $450,000. That's where NASCAR is right now.
It was going to be the Black Rifle Coffee Poconos Raceway for an entire year for only $450K. And that was, it was almost 6 years ago now.
That's not even close.
5 years ago.
So NASCAR hasn't aged well in the digital age.
No.
They should have gone heavy in video game stuff. Well, and buying skins for your fucking. They should have done Fortnite, but for race cars, and they would be fine right now, but they're not.
Meanwhile, everyone has a fucking boner for F1.
No, you need the narrative behind it. You need your documentary series on Amazon. You need the Tough Enough.
They had one documentary series. It was about Bubba Wallace. With the fucking noose that was a garage hook.
Yeah.
It's incredible how many media brands have been essentially self-immolated by just hiring idiot, liberal arts school, like social media and brand managers who don't have any idea what the actual public wants and just been lazy on the job and like deviating from what the fucking brand message was.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild.
And it's only going to continue because you're trying to appeal to everybody, which you can never do.
No.
Ever. No matter how hard you try.
Netflix has handled it pretty well, to be honest.
I agree.
I mean, they're one of the few like Fortune 500 companies that have really handled that situation well. Now, they made hiccups and everybody will, but just saying no. When somebody's like, you're canceled, and you're like, no, I'm not.
No.
Like, no, you are. Like, no, we're not. We're actually doing better than ever, so go fuck yourself.
I've been like hearing some inklings that internally at Netflix, they're like, all right, we realize people don't want the woke shit, and they're moving on. There's still a ton of it that they're producing. And
you can produce the content, that's fine, but if you let it get into the corporate infrastructure, now you're fucked.
Now you're fucked. Right? You go meet anyone who works over at Netflix, it is, but it feels like management who's also woke, is still that, but they're still a little actually woke because they understand business. They're like, all right, wait, we're gonna keep on placating a lot of these idiots who we hired that work for us, but we actually know, we see the Dave Chappelle numbers. The
numbers were insane.
Yeah, we see what people actually want, and we are gonna cater to that, even though we're gonna try to do it quietly and or just not associate our brand with it. Like they know what people actually want.
Yeah. Speaking of knowing what you actually want. A boner is what you want. Go to getroman.com/drinkinbros today for all your ED treatments. When the moment of intimacy arrives, you need to be ready. Roman ready. I love saying that. I don't know why. I feel like a gladiator. I feel like Russell Crowe when I say that. I don't mean like a real one, like a movie one. I still want to be a movie one.
Yeah, it still feels better than a guy sitting at a desk.
Yeah, and I don't want to actually be killed. Yeah, I want I want a movie Gladiator. Whether you've been in a relationship for years or just getting started, having the confidence that comes from preparation means you're free to enjoy the moment when the moment comes. Pun intended. Even though you are far from ordinary, the truth is that ED is really common. In fact, 52% of guys aged 40 to 70 experience some form of erectile dysfunction. Go to GetRoman.com/drinkinbros today to speak to a U.S. licensed healthcare professional about erectile dysfunction, and you'll get $15 off your first month of treatment. ED is more common than you think, guys. The benefits are reconnecting with your partner, rediscovering the joy of sex, and Roman Ready is confidence personified. Now, when it ships to you, it comes to you in a discreet package. Your wife, your mistress, your gay lover, whoever you're fucking. If you're fucking the Jeopardy champion, is the Jeopardy champion still?
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's still the same person.
I
right?
think she's still a transsexual person.
Yeah.
Whoever it is you're fucking.
Or if you're in the
it's
front
discreet
seat of one of
package.
these new Cadillacs, which we're going to talk about later on.
Ooh.
I don't know if you've seen the Cadillac Fuckmobile, but that's what I'm calling it.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan. You get 2 free day shipping with that. So if you go on the website, you talk to the professional, boom, they'll come up with the right treatment for you, and they will ship it free to your house within 2 days. Again, very discreet, straightforward. Getting started is simple. Just go to GetRoman.com/drinkinbros. Complete the online visit. Take care of your ED without leaving your own home. Complete the online visit today. And you can, like I said, you connect with a U.S. licensed healthcare professional. Take care of it. Take care of your ED. Go to GetRoman.com/drinkinbros today. If you're prescribed, get $15 off your first month of ED treatment. Make sure you're ready to have the confidence and control this fall. Roman Ready. God damn it.
Yeah.
I like it. Next up, D'Anthony. What the fuck is happening in Kazakhstan?
Well, it's one of the 2 countries that still have kind of a 2 former Soviet countries that still have kind of a communist associated dictatorial rule going on. The other one's Belarus, which had its own uprising last year, I think, or was it the year before?
Year before, yeah, I think so, yeah.
The guy that's in power now, I'd love to hear you try to say his name, to be honest. That's the only reason I wrote it out here, because I know you can't say it.
We're going to go with Nursultan Nazarbayeva.
Nazarbayev. You were
Is
close.
it?
Yeah, you were close on that
damn
one.
it, dude.
It's the Ross Patterson of Kazakhstan.
Yeah, it's just, I'm always a syllable off on people's names.
So the press started out reporting, there were riots that began on Sunday. The press said it was because of high fuel costs. Now,
Oh, is that not true? Because that's the story that I saw on David Muir.
I'm sure that is a catalyst to some degree, but there's no country that would fucking riot and start cutting police officers' heads off because
Jesus
of
Christ.
Oh, yeah, because of fuel. Like, we dealt with it ourselves in '79. Nobody cut Jimmy Carter's head off.
You're Asian, those Islamic, more Middle Eastern adjacent Russian republics, the ones that but when the Soviet Union was going on, everyone thought every Russian person was just like lily white, gymnast or whatnot. And then they're like, the countries break up and we're like, holy shit, 5 of these countries might as well be Saudi Arabia. It's crazy, right? I don't know. I feel like they breed them different out there.
Yeah, but they have, look, they've been under dictatorial rule for a long time, and that shit only lasts. Like, it's a pressure cooker at any point. It's just a matter of when it fucking pops. You know what I mean?
Well, but usually when it pops, it's it just passes from one dictator to the next.
That's very frequently the case, and it probably will be here. Nazarbayev, he's 81 now. He's been the president there, or whatever they call it, for 30 years. But there's not been any elections. He's just been de facto leader. And just never addressed it. I think maybe he was hoping everybody would forget.
That's great.
He wasn't, he never declared himself dictator or anything. He took power when they broke from the Soviet Union, and he just never brought it up. Like, hey, guys, they're like, hey, shouldn't we have elections? Oh, no. Shut the fuck up over there. What are you talking about?
It's not what we do over here.
Yeah, we don't do that shit. Russian troops have been sent there now.
Oh, great. That always turns out well.
I don't know if they have, some kind of NATO-style agreement to allow troops to come in like that. Russia's are all over Ukraine as well, on the border at least. This one's weird. This is weird to me. The Belarusian guy actually crushed. So they're out of power now. The what's his name? Nazarbayev. He's gone.
Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, he fucked off. And his whole cabinet fucked off. The entire government fucked off.
Great.
So what will probably happen is Russia, who's sending in troops to calm everybody down, riot police. Actually, it will be the fucking FSB, and they will find some puppet dictator and put him in power, and then we'll see what happens in the next 5 or 6 years, right?
Yeah.
That's what's really going to happen there. I just wanted to address this because everybody loves Borat.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason anybody knows what Kazakhstan is.
That's it. That's all there is. And every article they write has to mention Borat. This is a real country. Please stop making fun of us.
It's like that fucking little line at the bottom of the McDonald's coffee cup. Caution, contents are hot.
Yeah. After that person sued for $1 gajillion.
I wonder what the lifetime is on that. Like, how far into the future is Kazakhstan going to be?
We're in the meme generation, bro. Like, you and I will never forget that. We'll be talking about that when we're 80 years old.
Yeah, but will the person after that our 80-year-old grandkids?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. Comedies aren't getting made anymore. They're dead. So, like, you're just going to watch the same recycled comedies that we grew up with at this point. So I think Borat will probably live.
I think so, too. I think what's going to happen, and you're already seeing it happen now, is Hollywood can't think of anything new, so they remake an old classic, and kids end up going back and watching the old classic for context.
Yeah.
So it's just nested memes, basically.
Pretty much for years. For years and years and years.
Centuries.
It's good time to be in the meme game.
People are going to be talking about Harambe. Like, he will eventually turn into some kind of fucking god figure at some point.
Yes.
Like, Harambe died for your sins, you piece of shit.
As well he should.
Well,
he should. What an incredible beast. R.I.P.
By the way, not an ape. You said,
I said ape.
You said ape on the show this morning.
Yeah.
You're not a zoologist.
He's a gorilla?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I don't know.
Me neither.
So
it's like crocodiles and alligators.
I think
Who cares?
The difference is that apes are smaller typically.
Okay.
Like quite a bit smaller, and also quite a bit less violent.
None of these dummies corrected me today. Bob, you didn't correct me on ape versus gorilla.
Bob was being extremely white, which is what he does most of the time.
That's what I do. What are you talking about? A gorilla is an ape.
No.
Yes, it's a great ape.
Is it really?
Yeah.
God, I guess I'm wrong then.
There you go. Look, I got one
stupid.
today.
So chimps an ape too?
Yeah.
There is some, but monkeys are not apes.
No.
So what's the difference between a monkey and a chimp then? Because they look more or less like the monkey.
I don't think great apes have tails.
Pectoral strength.
Maybe. Yeah.
And they're a lot bigger, basically.
Well, they are quite a bit bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
But apes, chimps are apes too, though, right?
Yeah, chimps, orangutan.
But they're not that big.
They're pretty big. I mean, they're not as big as orangutans and gorillas, but
Okay. All right.
you know,
I learned something today.
Yeah.
I'm really happy about that.
You can learn something today by going to drinkinbros.com for the store. Merch is up. Is the CNN shirt up with the seltzer?
Yeah, pull that up. Go to drinkinbros.com, go to the store, and then go to apparel and the newest.
Dan made a Humpty Dumpty shirt out of Brian Stelter. That's fucking amazing, by the way.
Switch it to new. There you go. It's right there.
Boom. Look at that fucking thing.
Yeah, because Brian Stelter, by the way, 36 years old.
Yeah.
He's had a rough life, I guess.
Rough go of it.
That's him falling off of a CNN wall because he's Humpty Dumpty.
You can get that in a sweatshirt, a long sleeve tee, however you prefer your Stelter falling off the wall there.
Yeah.
Because he's only going to fail upwards, this fucking guy.
I think they might have to get rid of him, though.
I don't think so. I heard he's in contention for that Cuomo gig. So it's him and Jake Tapper. Tapper will probably get it.
how is that possible just aesthetically?
I know.
Like, at least Cuomo and Lemon are fine to look at and like just hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just hear the voice.
Yeah.
Well, it's like that guy in your fraternity who just really cared. He cared. He showed up to every goddamn. He was so dedicated to the house.
Yeah.
He repped the house, and everyone's like, "All right, this dude cares more."
He was
than
the Secretary of Treasury.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's like, you're not thinking about the brotherhood.
Yeah.
Well, look, he's a fat retard.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, he's a fat, balding retard. So if I don't know, if anybody else, maybe he's got a brother out there that looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's part of the twins experiment where all the fucking bad jizz went into that cup, and that's what produced Brian Stelter.
Yeah. And by the way, the seltzer's coming out. We had a meeting about it yesterday. So we were going to roll it out at SHOT Show. We're obviously not going anymore. So we're going to do Super Bowl extravaganza for it. And then it looks like it's going to drop February 14th.
That's Valentine's
Day, which is Monday. You can sign up at hardafseltzer.com. Just put your email in, and it'll tell you the update of when it can ship to your house and all that fun stuff. We're also negotiating to get the fucked up cans. that first batch of fucked up cans.
Yeah,
so.
they fucked up 75,000 cans.
75,000.
We're getting them for free, so I think what we're going to do is just get them all filled up and then try to drink them in 1 year.
Either drink them in 1 year or throw an event where they're there, or give people like the opportunity to purchase like a 6-pack where it's like the garbage pail kid that was all fucked up, where it's just like, oh, hey, did you have that? Like an error on the card. Kind of like that Mark Jackson card that somebody sent me with the Menendez brothers courtside at the New York Knicks game.
All Menendez all the time.
We need more Menendez. It's the best. So go to hardafseltzer.com. Just sign up, and then you'll get the email, and congratulations, you can buy it. But it's coming out soon. I heard Nashville got hit with another snowstorm.
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's an incoming ice storm, not snow.
God damn
which is
it.
worse for roads, by the way.
I just wanted to stay out of Texas. Last year was a fucking mess. Here.
Yeah. Look, man, if we could keep people out of Texas, we'd be doing pretty well right now. You know what you're not going to be able to keep me out of is the Cadillac fuckmobile.
No, Cadillac debuted its inner space autonomous car concept at this year's Consumer Electronics Show in a short film that is as dramatic as the two-seater luxury vehicle itself.
Look at that. That is a fuckmobile right there, my man.
Yes. So here's what I was confused by.
And by the way, you see that screen right there?
That's what I was confused by. Is that real?
It is a curved panoramic fucking screen. Massive screen.
So that's what they have at the Falcon Stadium.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if that was real or not. So that screen's just going to go all the way around.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's self-driving and everything else.
Yep.
So you could literally just watch porn or anything on this goddamn thing.
Make porn, watch it. Yeah,
but if you've got a couple of GoPro 9s, right? Just wire the car up like you're in fucking Impractical Jokers.
Yeah.
Right? Just have some cameras and mics around there. Go to work, right? On your commute from work. Now it's changed the game, especially if you're a Californian.
Yeah.
If you're on the 405 in the morning, instead of sitting there in traffic for 2.5 hours, you can sit there and fuck for 2.5 hours, right?
Oh, dude. Could you?
It's a lot of fucking.
I mean, even in a Tesla, like we drove from Wilmington to Raleigh, which is about a 2-hour drive in that Tesla SUV. My buddy tied who owned the car, he tied an ankle weight around the steering wheel so you didn't have to touch it every 2 minutes. It was Josh Hargis. Him and I had a full conversation, sent emails, everything, without looking at the road for the entire time. This shit can't get here fast enough, especially for parents, because it's like, dude, I don't want my kids fucking driving.
Yeah, but it's going to turn into iRobot, where you're Glenn Greenwald and exposing the U.S. government for something. All of a sudden, your car has an accident.
That's what I worry about. Or just somebody hacking into the system.
Yeah.
And then every fucking car goes every which way without you being able to.
Brazil.
Then you're going to be considered a Luddite for having a fucking normal car.
Yeah. Or are you cool? And then what does gas go up to?
Infinity.
Like,
right? You need that Back to the Future car where you just put some fucking food scraps in the back.
Yeah, nice banana peel.
Yeah.
it was like like when you go to Hawaii and you see gas is like $10 a gallon. You're like, why? Because there's one station in the whole fucking.
And everybody
island of
drives
Hawaii.
scooters and they get like 75 miles per gallon.
Yeah,
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. This shit can't get. We've had pre-orders in on all these fucking cars. The Hummer was one.
Yeah.
Still not ready. When is this going to be ready?
I haven't gotten an email in like 3 or 4 months.
Oh, they stopped.
From Hummer at all.
When I called, because we had that Sierra here for the company. When I called GMC, I go, "How about that Hummer?" And they were like, they're starting to make the parts now. And I was like, "Great. When are they going to combine them and make an actual vehicle?" And they were like, "Hopefully next fall."
I bet there's probably a bunch of chassis and bodies sitting around with no engine or no battery pack.
Yeah,
right.
That's what he said.
That's
yes.
the problem.
Yep. And then the other part to this was because Beamer released their new electric car. Looks dope as fuck. 600 miles is the radius on that one, but that's not going to come out for 3 years. They said.
Well, that's double the current average capacity.
Correct.
It's
yeah.
usually about 300.
Yeah.
Look, that's all fine and good. I was at the Edison Electric Conference in 2015, I think, with I was doing bodyguard work for General Petraeus, and Musk gave a presentation about this honeycomb pattern energy station. He was going to spend $22 billion of his own money to build it, and requested the U.S. government match it, the same way that we built the railroads, and similar to what we did with the interstate highway system. And there would be a charging station of some kind every 150 miles. You would never in any part of the at least the lower 48 be more than 150 miles away from a charging station ever. And the fucking left people fucking hammered him. They went nuts. Solyndra, man. Solar's where it's at.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, bro.
Elon Musk is clearly the world's greatest villain for wanting, to ease transportation and reliance on fossil fuels. I mean, the things that this guy does that for some reason piss people off are just like,
I don't
beyond
get
it.
He gave away most of the patents for the electric car. He just said, here.
Just so everybody else could catch up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what the
And
fuck?
he can sell them batteries.
Well, you think about what Elon Musk was already rich. Richer, he had more money than he could ever spend in his entire lifetime. And he looked at a problem like a lot of people, like most of the wars that get fought forever are over resources. And the one resource which most wars are being fought over right now is oil, right? I can solve that problem.
Yeah.
I just need a little bit of help. And everybody's like, fuck you, you're Hitler.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? What happened? I think he does some fucked up shit sometimes. Like,
I love him. I don't get it.
the stuff he does pumping crypto and stuff like that, I think is kind of dumb. But
Fuck it. If you had the ability to do it, why not do it? I don't blame him.
I wouldn't fuck with people's wallets. I would fuck with rich people a lot though.
Yeah.
Just to be a dick, because I know they can. Like, they're not actually. That's what trolling is. If somebody is victimized, you're not trolling them. You're a cunt.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, he's also doing a lot of trolling of other powerful people, particularly those in the media,
That's what I
Elizabeth
like,
Warren.
yes.
And so, like, when I'm adding it all up and, the ledger, things are...
He's a net
He's
positive.
in the
Yeah.
black.
Yeah,
He's
for sure.
not in the red.
No,
he's
no,
deep
he's
in the
fine.
black.
yeah, for sure. And he's hilarious too.
Yeah.
He's a
Very.
better Twitter. He's probably one of the better Twitter followers.
Yeah.
Follows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
for
feel
sure.
like he's what, to a certain extent, he's what Trump should have been. Like, had he been more...
Just a little more measured.
Measured
Yeah.
and just, like, strategic about it and, like, all right, motherfuckers, I'll play your game, but just know I'm still going to succeed. You're still going to be pissed off about it, and I'm going to still mock you.
Yeah. No.
And then just having a team that makes gifs of the fucking sunglasses coming over your face after every quip you make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's all your whole media team is just that, just making memes, which apparently is all Donald Trump Jr.'s fucking media team does.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
He posts a lot of funny shit.
I think he'll be on the show soon. But next up, we got AOC partying in Florida. The old saber-toothed donkey, AOC, was recently caught partying at a densely packed bar in Miami without a mask on, while the state she represents struggles with a devastatingly high number of COVID cases. AOC had been on vacation in Miami since before the new year, and a clip posted on social media showed her interacting with people and being introduced by the MC at a drag show. Do we have a picture of that, by the way?
By the way, drag shows fall under the same umbrella that BLM riots do. Like, COVID can't come there. They're not
Totally
invited.
acceptable.
Totally acceptable.
In all circumstances.
COVID is
That
like,
is packed.
COVID's like a vampire. You have to invite it into your house.
Holy shit, that is packed there.
And if it's in the state of Florida, it's not coming. No matter what.
Well, now, Representative Seabiscuit lashed out at pretty much everybody. Like, Republicans just want to date me, man. Bunch of creepy
that what she
weirdos.
said?
And then she put out another video yesterday saying, "Oh, look, here's all the Republicans that are obsessed with your feet," talking about her husband because he was wearing sandals.
Oh, no shit. There we go. That looks like a fun time.
Yeah.
COVID can't get you at a drag show.
No, it's the wigs.
Yeah.
That protect you. Now Swalwell's down there too, but I don't know if he's on vacation, hiding from the goddamn hellscape he's helped create in California, or if he's down there to pick up a new Asian spy wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or whatever the fuck happened there.
It's a 50-50 coin toss and something like that, and you never want to rule either one of them out.
No, I don't want to kink shame either. Like, we all like Asians. Eric, you're not special.
Yes.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, man.
What a cunt.
We have people come in here all the time requesting Asians.
Yeah, well.
Everybody who comes to Austin's like, where's the Asians? And I'm like, every city? Like,
Asia.
every city, yeah. You can find some form of hand job jack-off house, you know?
That's true, yeah. And that's good.
There's an app, the Rub and Tug app.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. You can fucking...
No, it's Tugger.
Tugger, yeah. It's got to be some stupid, let's remove the vowels name. Yeah.
Is it Tuggr?
Tugr.
God damn it, dude.
Is it really? That's great.
No, I'm just making that. I'm just completely made up.
Wow,
Oh, is it really?
you sold that pretty
God
good.
damn,
You had to go
there was
for
a lot of
second.
confidence in Tugger.
Yeah.
I'm making an app called Tugger
Yeah,
now.
is that, wait, hold on. Is this for where like closeted men go to get hand jobs?
No,
from
it's
each
just
other?
for hand job, and there is an actual app and a website too. That because we looked
I'm going to look at it. I think
we looked it up
Rub
on
and Tug.
we
dude.
looked it up on the show one time. They like anonymously give the locations of these places, and also
reviews.
of
I've looked it up plenty of times before.
like use these words to get these services.
Okay, so Rub Maps is what it's called. And look, because your computer is tracking you wherever you go, mine pops up as Austin Massage Parlor, Cedar Park, San Marcos, Round Rock.
Don't say any of them out loud because
I'm not going to.
Look,
I don't want to out them.
We support small business here.
Yes, absolutely. You have to. You have to. You got to stop Asian hate. And Chicago. I don't know why we jumped to Chicago like after.
Well, it's because we were just talking about Chicago and the phone's listening to you all the time.
Were we really? God damn it.
Yeah.
Well, here we are. But yeah, man, AOC. I get why you're partying down in Florida. But just make your state like that. You can.
Yeah.
If you want to. If you believe it, you can achieve it. My grandpa always said.
I found one within
R.I.P.
walking distance.
Oh, from here?
Yeah.
No surprise there because you can also get stabbed in walking distance.
Yeah.
And I think the more likely it is you can get stabbed somewhere, the more likely it is you can get a hand job there.
How does Giorgio not know where this is?
And me and Dan have been on many long lunch walks. Just
Yeah.
This
discovering
is
the
about
neighborhood.
twice the distance of Chipotle.
Okay.
What are we
Oh
talking?
man, there is a school within like a stone's throw of this. It like backs up to a school.
Well, look, a lot of teachers getting off work. That's a lot of pressure. How far is it away from here? 0.2 of a mile, something like that? Is it walking
It's
distance?
like a half. Yeah, you walk there.
Half a mile is about 6 minutes of walking.
Okay.
I would call this 15 minutes of walking.
Well, if you're retarded.
How are the reviews, Bob? Are they good enough to?
115 reviews here.
115 people reviewed that. Go to iTunes and rate and review our show for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
If you have the time to rate and review your favorite rub and tug place, you can review the goddamn podcast.
Well,
Spotify's even got. Just press the 5-star. That's it.
This is how they get you. They actually hide a lot of the reviews behind a paywall.
Yeah, you got to go premium.
Oh, premium on the rub maps.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's how they keep themselves safe.
We're in the wrong fucking business, dude.
Yeah.
No cop is going to pay.
It's
for
an
it.
easy transition.
Can I tell
yeah,
you? Here's
Is
some
it?
Of, here's some of the
One way to
stuff.
find out.
From an LA guy, yeah.
Here's some of the stuff they talk about, like in terms of just like categories of masseuse ethnicity, Asian for this place,
Sure.
and semi-truck parking. Yes or no?
That is great.
Yeah.
That's something you don't think about.
Lot lizards, man.
Yeah, you got to get the lot lizards in there.
This is by the 7-Eleven, guys, in case you need actual context.
And in Texas, by the way, because
You mean the one down in the corner down here?
No, it's a little further.
No, by the Travis County High School.
Oh, God,
Whoa,
really?
boy.
There's a bunch of those.
It backs up to the high school.
it's got to be, 100 yards away or something like that?
If you drive by that
This is
school,
5 yards away.
anytime between like 8 and 9 in the morning or 2 and 4 in the afternoon, there's like 1,000 kids walking around out there.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you can probably get a real massage there as well, Bob. Again, we don't want to out these people. We don't want to hurt that small business.
Probably just stay away from the school. Otherwise, you're going to get a visit from Mr. Gunn. Because I will murder you if you're a pedophile.
Oh, man, that's crazy. Who's the first one to go out of you guys? Probably Bob.
No. Are you
I'm
serious?
kidding. Giorgio, it's you. Will they take your debit card, your crypto debit
but
card?
the difference is Georgia's going there to work.
This is cash. Yeah, it's a cash-only establishment.
First, yes, definitely cash only. And secondly, I am a connoisseur of fine establishments such as this, so I would not find myself in a lowly no.
Yeah. Have you been to a bad one?
Yeah.
Really?
What's a bad hand job?
Yeah, what's a bad hand job?
Dry
like?
hobo.
Oil is oil. You're good to go.
Yeah, as long as they're using some kind of lubricants.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to a bad massage parlor. I mean, I'm not going to say that I've been to a rub and tug place per se, but I've had bad massages at places that I need to be buzzed into.
Okay. So you've been to a rub and tug place?
No.
What are we doing?
You're fine saying that. Your girlfriend doesn't watch the show. There's no way she watches the show.
I'm not worried about her. I'm just worried about,
Oh, your life in general?
Future me.
Okay.
Just should not admit to being in such places.
I think everybody's been there at one point, either on purpose or an accident, where at the end of the massage, you wake up and you're like, oh, what the fuck? Well, all right. I mean,
I'm still waiting for they incorporate that with the float tanks. Like, you on a special float at the end. Like, you sit for 30, 45 minutes, and then someone, like a ghost hand, comes in and,
There was a place in New York that was like that, where it was like a super high-end fucking facility where it had, like, you could work out, you could take steams, everything else. Mm-hmm. But the masseuses were, like, professionally trained, so you were getting the best massage, and then they just happened to jack you off.
Well, this is like the 1980s and 90s in New York, fucking DC, Chicago. It's a schwitz, right?
But you had to be invited, and they gave you this card, and they would ask you like who invited you, and if that person wasn't in the system, they would throw you out.
Right.
Allegedly.
Now, I prefer my massages from a man because I feel like they get in there a little bit more. But like, I also assume that they'd be better at the special massages. I mean, doing them their entire life. If
So
you're just going for quality.
but you want to be jacked off by a man, is what you're saying.
No, I'm just saying I think that the male masseuses would be better at it.
Okay.
They would be better rub and tug. I guess what would you call that person? Masseuse? I guess
a connoisseur of a rub and tug?
A dick masseuse?
Yeah.
I feel like men would be better dick masseuses.
Yeah, it's pretty gay.
Yeah, it's all, like, everything you're saying is super homoerotic today, Giorgio. And that's fine. That's where you're at.
I like how you won't admit that you go to fucking rub and tugs, but you won't admit that you want to get jacked off
by a dude. Yeah, like that doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm just saying that I think a male masseuse would be better at it.
I don't know.
That's like saying lesbians are better at eating vagina.
That I believe.
I mean, a gay guy maybe, but not just like a guy. Like, I'm not going to give a better hand job than a woman that's been giving hand jobs.
And that's true. Like,
No,
I wouldn't trust Bob.
You
to
wouldn't
jack
use
me
your
off.
whole hand. You would just use like these 3 fingers, probably, because you don't want to. Look, everybody knows this is the physics of gay. By the way, the less amount of contact you make, the less gay it is.
Yeah.
I wrote something called the 20-40 rule back in the day, which is if you're in a threesome with another dude, as long as 20% of any individual ball or 40% of your total sack doesn't make contact, it's not gay.
Correct.
No. The less enthusiastic you are, and like the more homophobic you are, the gayer you are.
That's gay, yeah, for sure. I'm not saying like avoid eye contact and look up in the corner of the room. All I'm saying is if your balls start touching, then something's gone wrong.
I thought the more broy you were during it, the less gay it was. So if
That's
you're giving,
true.
like,
High
lots of
fives,
yeah.
You're allowed to do that.
Yeah, but we're not talking about high fives unless you consider a high five to be a high five if you do it with your balls.
I mean, if you're clapping your beanbags,
Usually there's a
that should
woman
not happen.
in between me and my buddy. Like
Yeah.
there's a human barrier there, so our balls never even come close.
Right, that's exactly how it's supposed to work.
Right.
But if your balls are touching, that's why I wrote the goddamn rule.
I don't know
it
why
wasn't
it
for
would
all
be.
these scenarios you're saying where balls don't come close to each other, fuckface.
Yeah.
let's not factor out retirement homes where people's balls are on the ground.
That's fair. I mean, there's got to be some different rule exception for older people, I guess. Also for clit lips. Mm-hmm. I'm told they get quite long.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard the clit itself actually is like your nose and ears, and that it never stops growing.
That's a whole different show. That's a whole different show.
So, like, theoretically, if you live to be 900 years old, like it says in the Bible, the woman would just be a giant clit with a hat on.
She could like ride it around or like sit on it like a hippity hop.
Yeah.
Like South Park with the balls.
Yeah, it's like that guy who actually has a giant scrotum. Have you ever seen that? Like, he's on the bus and...
Well, we had
a guy.
His name's Lucas, and he makes knives for Black Rifle Coffee.
Yeah.
He's a former Ranger, and he's got a giant beanbag.
Biggest nutsack I've ever seen.
He stretched it up over his entire body.
Yeah.
And then we were on a cruise, and the wind caught it, and he parasailed for like 200 or 300 meters.
It was like a kangaroo pouch.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it.
I'm pretty sure the guy Rob just brought up was pretty tragic. He was on Tosh.0, and he's dead.
Yeah.
Is he really? Why? How did he died from his sack?
From goddamn
look at his sack.
elephantitis.
Here, we'll pull it up.
It says 100-pound
photo.
scrotum.
There it is.
Okay, why is he taking the bus, and how is he not able to monetize this?
Well, this is back in the day, right?
100-pound scrotum. But
Oh.
Boy.
Who made those pants?
How did he get on the bus?
Oh, that's a hoodie. That's definitely a hoodie.
Oh, he's got
Yeah.
a hoodie over his legs and his. Oh man.
Yeah. But how did he get on the bus, though? Like, physically get on to take this picture?
They showed him like walking like Tosh.0 and stuff. He just waddles up. Just
Man.
waddles on.
And why doesn't he? Well, I guess he's dead now. But was surgery not an option?
I don't remember his story beyond it's basically like elephantitis. And
Well,
he had to
that's-
wear hoodies on his scrotum.
That's sad. What we were talking about was funny, and you guys made it sad.
Yeah. Now you made it tragic. So this guy's dead?
I guess.
R.I.P. Jesus Christ.
Sometimes you can yes and a thing too far.
Read the room. Yeah, read the room, dude. We were talking about getting jacked off, Giorgio maybe by other dudes, and now you bring this, like a dead guy, into the
You like to end
conversation.
on a sour note.
We're
right?
not done. We've got one more story left. Did Belinsky have to piss?
No, he's got to go. He had a call.
Okay. Last but not least here, speaking of dicks and boners, let's end on it. Viagra just isn't, it's not for boners anymore. For years, Viagra has been helping men rise to the occasion, and now it has been used to help a woman rise from a coma.
Yeah, so maybe that's what Prince Charming should have done instead of sexually assaulting Cinderella or whatever the fuck happened. I don't know what happened. Snow White. That's it.
So a British COVID patient was only 3 days away from being pulled off the ventilator when nurses decided to say fuck it and pump her full of erectile dysfunction medicine. I'm not sure why.
Well, Viagra was originally created to address lung issues, right? They found out that one of the side effects.
Oh, yeah.
And what we know from, she had COVID. What we know from that, if you haven't seen McCullough's interview with us yesterday, you should go listen to that or watch it on Patreon.
Drinkin Bros Patreon.
One of the main effects of the respiratory version of COVID, the earlier variants, is that it creates blood clots in your lungs, which is not great. So that seems like a pretty reasonable off-label application of that drug.
Yeah.
I'm surprised somebody didn't try it sooner, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, they pumped her full of it, and then she got up and is fine now. So good for her, I guess. But my God, man, that's fucking nuts.
So now, I don't want to mention them by name because they probably don't want to be associated with this. But one of our sponsors may be saving the world out there.
Yeah, we never know. We never know. And that's the joyous part of this. Now's the point of the show where we get to the Drinkin' Bro of the Week. I don't know who sent this, but I wanted to thank you anyways. There was a Utah fan who bet me against Ohio State, took a side bet with him. And we'll do these things that are kind of like under $100 for a bet. And they were pretty confident Utah was going to win against all of Ohio State's freshmen. It was a close game, so you were super close. I had asked for, in return, a Quinn Ewers signed Buckeyes jersey. There was only one of these in existence. Now that he has been paid off by the NIL and all of the University of Texas to transfer there, and you send it into the show. But with these packages, there's not names on them. Just put your name on it, and then we'll give you a shout out. I forget who it is, and it's lost in the DMs, so I apologize.
Well, I know who it was.
But know that I am grateful, and I'm going to wear this to the first Texas game that he starts at.
It wasn't Drew Lomax, for sure.
It was not.
Because I'm pretty sure you had to block him after Michigan won.
Well, he does our web guy. He does our websites and things, so we can't block Drew, but the nurse almost did. And I told that story where, I wasn't allowed to have a phone or a computer in the hospital, so it was out in the lobby. And the nurse was like, hey, because it was at the point where I could have it for like an hour a day. And so she goes, hey, I hate to bother you, but this guy keeps fucking calling you a piece of shit over and over and over again and calling your phone. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, it's saved as Drew Lomax.
Well,
and
to be fair,
like, oh my God.
To be fair, you are a piece of shit.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not like he was saying untrue shit.
But to be shriveled up in a hospital and calling me a piece of shit.
That makes it
for
way
hours.
Funnier. That's way funnier.
For hours. And to the point where the nurse had to come in and say, hey, dude. Yeah.
So Drew Lomax is probably going to be the Sarah Williams Worst Fan Award, I guess.
No, so we're down to the finale of this, okay? We got one more game left for the award. So we will announce that next week after the Alabama game against Georgia. Also, to drum up some interest in there, flop on over to Drinkin' Bros Sports after this. We've got an NFL show. Dan is actually going down to Bernie to shoot some stuff with Black Rifle Coffee after the show tonight. So join us on the NFL show. We're going to talk about what we're going to give away to drum up some interest for the national title game. All you have to do is subscribe to Drinkin' Bros Sports YouTube page for that, and we're going to be giving something autographed away from either in Alabama, the winning team, Alabama or Georgia, and we'll have you make your educated guesses on what the final score will be in Drinkin' Bros Sports on our Facebook group. It's private. Just don't be an asshole and join, and then you can talk shit with the rest of us for everything that we're talking about here on the show today. But with that, we'll have some sweet giveaways, and we'll do something for the Super Bowl as well, and the seltzer and all that other fun stuff. Matt Belinsky, thank you for joining us here today. We
my
greatly
pleasure.
appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me.
You have a
That's
new
fun.
podcast, right?
I do.
What's the name of the podcast?
It is called The Prevailing Narrative with Matt Belinsky, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, everywhere you find your podcasts.
Awesome. And where can everybody find you on social media?
MattBilinsky. I'd say, Twitter and Instagram. Instagram gets kind of spicy. Twitter, more intellectual for obviously the intellectual audience that
Of course.
we have here.
Very sophisticated. You dipped during our worst part, which makes me think, as soon as it started going south with dudes jacking off other dudes, you were like, I got to make a call.
Yeah, I do have an instinct for that, to avoid
Probably smart.
Yeah, the same-sex jerk-off.
Well, it didn't start that way.
No.
It never does.
It never does, but it always ends up that way. So,
What are you going to do?
what are you going to do? By the way, the guy who sent in the walrus penis, we did confirm that this was a walrus penis, by the way. So the audience was correct on that when we were doing the live show. It is a walrus penis. However, I fucked up his name. It wasn't Eric Poirier. I told him it just said E, and I guessed it, Eric. It's Edmund.
Edmund.
No
one's name is Edmund. Your name is Ed. Not one motherfucker is calling you Edmund, motherfucker.
Or
ain't no Edmonds these days.
if you're in the mob, and you make people call you Edmund, that's the only way that somebody's calling you Edmund at this point in life.
I still wouldn't do it.
No, I wouldn't either.
Not quite an Edmund, but I spent Christmas with an Edwin, who was a member of the 82nd in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
He was a member of the 82nd in Puerto Rico.
Well, he was in Puerto Rico and was formerly.
This is why grammar's important.
Yes. I'll go to the corner.
Well, I was wrong about the gorilla thing. I'm going to kill Harambe again now for that.
Yeah, you
for
should.
Publicly embarrassing me.
You should. And then everybody out there celebrating the anniversary of January 6th. It's probably potluck at most of these dinners tonight. Bring something nice. Some egg salad. Or whatever.
Egg salad, the official delicacy of January 6th anniversary celebration.
If we could pump that, and there's got to be a way to associate like potato salad with January 6th.
Yeah.
And that way you go to like all the...
And egg salad, because a good egg salad...
I think it has to be egg salad,
It's
because
hard
egg
to make.
salad's like the dumber version of potato salad.
But it's hard to make, too. Nobody can get it
Mm-hmm.
right for some reason.
Well, then next winter, right, or I guess next holiday season, everybody is arguing over whether or not to have egg salad. Maybe egg salad is part of their traditional family gathering, but they're progressives.
Yeah.
And now there's fallout. I would just love to create fallout for people.
You're a big Fallout guy.
I am, yeah.
Are we going, though? Because this will probably be a national holiday soon, I would imagine. For real. If we, everybody's doing... Juneteenth and whatever holidays now, like every other day.
It's definitely going to be a social media holiday, like National Donut Day or whatever.
Yeah, so I think it'll go from Christmas Eve until you don't have to go back to work until January 7th.
What about June 2nd next year? Is that going to be are everybody going to post black out pictures again?
Probably.
I don't know, I think a lot
Or did we
of
forget
people,
about that? Has that gone the way of the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge?
The Ice Bucket Challenge, planking. Yeah. I think a lot of people are like, we might have lost the plot on that.
Yeah. The beauty of it is, since you're in Austin, they did. They announced that Juneteenth was going to be an official holiday for schools here in Austin ISD. Hate to break it to you, but the kids are already off. So I guess if you're in summer school, if you're one of the fuck ups who's in summer school, in high school,
that's how you know there's no real thought behind any of it. It's just all virtue signaling nonsense.
It's crazy.
You know what we should do? We should make Juneteenth a holiday for kids here. They're not in school then. I don't care.
It's for the summer
Put it on the
school
calendar,
kids.
man.
Yeah.
I was planning on that post. I can't not do the post now about Juneteenth. So I got to make it a holiday.
So it's a holiday for all the kids stuck in summer school here. Matt Belinsky, we appreciate you being here. For D'Anthony Holloway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is Drinkin' Bros Fake News. Good night, everyone.